Hey guys, it's about beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Today I do appreciate you spending a little time here. Today's beer is the 2019 edition of New Holland's Dragon's Milk. Guys, I've done this beer multiple times in different variations and bourbon barrel versions and stuff. They make a lot of different versions of this beer. This is not the bourbon barrel aged version. This is an 11%er. As far as dating, I don't, well, it does say bourbon barrel aged stout right on the bottom of it here. The picture on Beer Advocate has it up here. It says aged in oak barrels. So, and I just clicked on the regular version, but this is a bourbon barrel version. But I don't see any kind of, yeah, it is. It's written in yellow. It says bottled on December the 20th of 2018. So here today we're in the first week of April. So it's about, not quite 4 months old. 3.5, 11%. I don't know what kind of bourbon notes we're going to get on this. I actually bought a 4-pack of this. It was at the little gas station / craft beer store, because Kroger's doesn't carry their beers. Kroger spends or produces a large amount of shelf space for the macro lager drinkers and not allow craft beer shelf space, because they sell more of that horse hockey crap to a lot of people. Those people are more interested in getting drunk than tasting a good beer. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And they want to get 30 of them for $15 instead of paying, you know, like $10 for 4 of these. But they're 11%ers. They got a lot more taste, a lot better ingredients, more well made. There's a whole lot of reasons, and and a lot of them are not into dark beers on top of that. I mean, they're looking for the maximum amount of beers they can buy for the lowest amount of dollars. It doesn't matter what it tastes like. They're after the effect instead of the taste. We want to be able to drink 12 to 18 of them and get shit-faced instead of drinking something where you can drink 1 or 2 of them and be done. So, and that's how I am. I'm down to, since the heart attack, 1 to 2 beers a day. And it's not because of the amount. If I was drinking 4%ers, I could probably have a few more. But when I start drinking these craft beers, and especially the heavier, darker beers or the bigger ABV beers, a lot of calories in those. So with me trying to lose weight, I can't have it. And I had one of my subscribers saying, you're on a beer diet? Well, it ain't so much the beer diet, it's the calorie diet. Calories in equals calories on. So if you're drinking heavy beers or higher ABV beers, there are a lot more calories than a Bud Light or a Miller Lite or Coors Light. That's just the bottom line there. It's just, that's how it is. That's how it is. So, but even before I had the heart attack, I was only drinking 2 to 4. So I've cut that in half, trying to cut the calorie intake down. But I still want to do the beer reviews, and as long as I can keep losing weight and staying on course with that, I'm happy with doing 1 or 2 a day. Usually it's 2, especially cutting them in half from 3 to 4. So So that being said, enough about me. Let's talk about the beer. All right, 11%er. Commercial description says here 31 IBUs on Untapped, and it says a stout with roasty malt character intermingled with deep vanilla tones, all dancing in an oak bath. Well, this is a bourbon barrel aged version, and the pictures look like the pictures I have on my bottle. So I'm hoping I'm going to get some bourbon notes from this. And if I don't get them, I'm going to tell you that. I mean, if they put it in a bourbon barrel that's had beer in it before, it's going to be very lackluster. And if they put it in a bourbon barrel that hasn't, and they only left it in there for a very short time, it's going to be lackluster again. So if I think the bourbon is lackluster, I will tell you that. And if I think it's nice and there and appropriate, I'm going to tell you that. So nobody sent me this beer. I bought it. So I'm going to grade it accordingly, like I always do, whether I buy them or somebody sends them to me, whether it be something I would purchase again or worth your time to spend the money for a 4-pack of this. But it is at 11%, so and that's one reason why you're going to pay a little bit more for those, and they're in 4-packs instead of 6-packs. So that's all we need to talk about. Let's get it on. 12-ounce bottle. I do appreciate them using bright yellow ink on the side of the bottle. Very easy to see and read. And being an 11%er, we're going to go right down the middle here, guys. About as aggressive as I can pour that beer. Yeah, looks like we ended up with this about a half a finger of head on that pour. Just slightly off-white colored head over into the light. I'm not getting a whole lot, maybe a little bit of red rubiness around the very thin part of the glass down here. Looks very good in the glass. A very nice looking stout. To the nose we go. Rich roasted malt. A hint of some black molasses. Slight hint of some bourbon notes in there, but it's very subtle. And that may be where they didn't want the bourbon overpowering everything else, and I'd rather have the bourbon being a little bit brighter and a little bit pronounced, but they may not have. So maybe a slight hint of some bittersweet chocolate, not getting any dark fruit now that it's right out of the fridge. And it's probably going to open up a little bit more. Maybe get some a little bit more bourbon notes and stuff in the aroma as it warms up. But let's see if we got it on the taste. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Very pleasant. It's a little thin on the mouthfeel for an 11% stout. Very smooth, though. The alcohol is well hidden. The bourbon notes are not as prominent as I was hoping they would be. I don't think they left it in the barrel long enough from this guy's taste, but it may be where they wanted it to be. They may not have wanted the bourbon overpowering everything else. It is a smooth drinking beer for an 11%. And I told you it was a 2019 edition, but it was bottled in almost the end of December 20th of 2018. So it's basically the 2018 edition. I've just cellared it, and it just showed up at the beer store. So even being done in December, it just showed up here end of March. So it took that long for it to get here, go through distribution, and get to the store, which is not super critical on 11% Imperial Stout. But why does it take 3 months for this beer to get here and get put on the shelves? And that's the problem we have. This beer is not going to be a problem because it's an 11% Imperial Stout. But if it was an IPA or a Pale Ale or anything like that, and if it takes 3 months to get here, if I'm looking for an IPA or a double IPA, and it's got a, to me, which is an average 3-month shelf life, and it's 3 months before it shows up, I'm not going to buy it. It's going to sit there. I'm going to pick it up, look at the date, and put it right back up on the shelf, guys. I'm not going to buy an IPA or a double IPA. or even a pale ale that's 3 months old when it hits the store shelves. Not gonna do it. But that's just it's just me. It's my OCD. I know how fresh a beer needs to be for the style that it's produced in. And if you're spitting it on the shelf and it's already 3 months old, some other suckers are gonna come along and buy it, because this sucker ain't gonna do it. So we're gonna sip on this, let it come up to room temperature. It's already leaving a nice lace on the glass already. So other than the bourbon notes being a little more subdued than I was hoping for, it's still a very tasty beer. But remember, it's a $10 6-pack, which is a good deal for an 11%er barrel-aged, bourbon barrel-aged on top of that. So let me sip on it, and we'll come back and we'll figure out where it's going to finally end up. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on it for a while now. A little bit of lacing is left on the on the glass. The bourbon note's a little too subdued for me, guys. I can't recommend this for a bourbon barrel-aged version. There are a lot of other bourbon barrel-aged versions of Imperial Stouts that have a more prominent bourbon barrel note. This one is a little too subdued for me. And the bourbon notes being a December 20th, 2018 bottled on date, the bourbon notes just should still be there. I don't think it would be any stronger if I'd have had it on the 21st than when I'm having it today. I think it's a well-made beer. I will say that. The Dragon's Milk, they've been doing these for a long, long time, and they make a lot of different versions of them, but this one is not as impressive as I think it could be or should be. With that being said, I do think it's an A beer, but to me it's just barely into the A category for a bourbon barrel aged stout. I want a more prominent bourbon taste. When I'm paying extra for that, and it has it on the label that it is bourbon barrel aged, I want to be able to detect that and smell that and taste that pretty prominent. So I don't think they left it in the barrel long enough, in my opinion, or the barrel already had beer in it once before or more. I want that to be when I pick up or spend my money on a bourbon barrel aged stout. When I pour it in the glass, the first thing I want to smell is the bourbon. I don't want it to be subdued. I don't want to be hints of it. I want to be the prominent smell. Then I want to smell the roasted malt, and then any other characteristics go along with the beer, whether it's molasses, dark fruit, chocolate, or whatever. But the bourbon ought to be the prominent notes, because that's where you're paying extra for the beer, the ABV and the barrel aging. So for the 11%er, the alcohol is very well hidden, I will say that. It's a well-made beer, but I just don't think they left it in the bourbon barrels long enough, and not sure it was a first-run bourbon barrel. So let's do the final chug on this. To be flat out honest with you guys, if it didn't have bourbon barrel aging on the bottle, I wouldn't be able to detect the bourbon barrel age. Since it said that, I'm looking for it, and it is too subdued. So it's not a 10 beer. It's not a 9 beer. I'm gonna give it to 8, which is A minus, and it's just barely into that. And the only reason I'm doing that because it says it's 11%er on the label, and it has the date on the bottle. But as far as the bourbon notes, you're going to be disappointed if you're expecting big bourbon notes on this beer. 90 for me, guys. It's barely into the A minus category. Over to Beer Advocate, they have it at 4.05. They say it's exceptional. I don't know if I would agree with exceptional. It's well made. I'm not going to say it's exceptional. The bourbon notes are too lacking for me to call it exceptional. But the alcohol is very well hidden, which is exceptional for 11%er. Over to Untapped. Untapped has it at 4.06, also in their A minus scale. So basically it's unanimous. It's an A minus beer. Beer Advocate, Untapped, and myself think it's an A minus beer. So if you've had, this is end of the year in 2018, December 20th. version of this beer, the bourbon barrel age Imperial Imperial Stout. Let me know what you think. I think it could be better. I think they should leave it in the bourbon barrel just a little longer to get some of those more prominent bourbon notes, but it may be where they wanted it to be, and that's not where I want it to be. But I'm not the brewer, so it really doesn't matter what I think. I'm just telling you what I think. So, if you've had this version, let me know what you think, guys. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.